The villagers exploded with rage. They dragged the chief out of the compound and beat him without mercy. He cried for forgiveness, but his cries fell on deaf ears. In the bustling city of Onitsha, Chief Ulisakwe was a man of immense wealth and influence. Known for his extravagant lifestyle, his fleet of luxury cars and mansions were envied by many. Yet, for all his fame in Onitsha, it was the annual December visit to his hometown, Ozubulu, that cemented his status as a living legend. Every 27th of December, Chief Ulisakwe hosted a grand feast in his big compound. The event was no mere party, it was a carnival of generosity. Villagers from all walks of life, young, old, male and female, gathered eagerly, their hearts racing with anticipation. Chief Ulisakwe's gifts were celebrated. Sacks of rice, gallons of groundnut oil, cartons of tomatoes, onions, and his signature dried meat paired with vintage wine. These gifts were the highlight of the year, and every December, the villagers eagerly awaited his arrival. Chief Ulisakwe's generosity was unmatched, but his personal life was shrouded in mystery. A single man in his late 40s, rumors swirled about his failed marriages. It was said he had been married 5 times, yet none of his wives had stayed longer than a year. The reasons were as elusive as whispers carried by the Hamilton winds. None of the women ever stayed back with him, and he would always say they had traveled abroad. Why do you think no woman stays with him? Chinyere, a young woman with eyes as bright as the stars, whispered to her friend Enkay as they watched Chief Ulisakwe mingle with the crowd. Maybe it's his temper, Enkay speculated, though her gaze lingered on the chief's striking figure. Or perhaps his wealth intimidates them. Intimidates them? If I were his wife, I would stay with him forever, Chinyere declared with a laugh. Despite the rumors, women flocked to Chief Ulisakwe. His charm was undeniable, his wealth intoxicating. Yet, beneath the glamour and goodwill, the chief remained a puzzle no one could solve. A man who gave the world everything but carried secrets only the quiet of the night could hear. Don't go to that man's house, oh, Nnes shouted, her voice trembling with a mix of fear and frustration. She clutched her harper tightly around her frail frame, glaring at her grandson Chizuru. I don't trust that man. Chizuru rolled his eyes, pretending not to hear her. He was already picturing the succulent dried meat and the bottle of vintage wine. He'd been dreaming for weeks. This was the first time he stayed back in Ozubulu during the festive season. He had stayed back for one reason and one reason only, to experience firsthand the grand party. His friends had talked about it all year long, and he wasn't about to miss Chief Ulisakwe's grand gesture this year, especially after they told him about the vintage wine they received and all other goodies they had collected the previous year. Chizuru, why are you even worried? Ekene, one of Chizuru's closest friends, interjected, leaning lazily against the mud wall of their compound. Do you know how many people go to that party every year? Hundreds. If the chief is truly a bad man, wouldn't the whole village be dead by now? You are right, Namdi interjected. Your grandma is just being a grandma. It's an old folks' tale. Don't mind her, Joe, he said, smiling. I took all the things he gave last year. Rice, oil, tomatoes, wine, and the meat. And I ate all of them. The wine was the sweetest. I've never tasted something so good. And it went very well with that dried meat. I can't miss it this year. I'm still alive, and I will go and taste. You children don't understand, the grandma said, her voice breaking. I saw that man in my dream. It was a very dark and strange place where he was. He was standing over there, calling out names. And the moment they appeared, he would use his knife and stab them. Their blood would splash all over the place, she said, shivering at the memory of the nightmare she had that's been haunting her for weeks. The boys exchanged glances, then busted out laughing. Nene, you've been watching too many Nollywood movies, Ekene said, slapping his thigh. Nene's heart sank. She could see the excitement in her eyes, the way their minds were already at the chief's compound. She shook her head, knowing there was nothing she would see that would make them change their minds. She retreated into her room, muttering prayers under her breath. As soon as her door shut, the three boys tiptoed out of the compound, stifling their laughter. Let's go! Before she comes out again, Chizuru whispered, his voice low with urgency. The evening air was cool, carrying the faint sound of music and laughter from the chief's compound. The boys quickened their pace, their excitement building with every step. By the time they arrived, the place was alive with activity. The yellow bulbs casting a golden glow over the large crowd. Drums beat rhythmically, and the aroma of roasted meat filled the air. See, everyone is here. There is nothing to worry about, Joe, Namdi said, nudging Chizuru. This is paradise, he said excitedly. They joined the queue, eagerly awaiting their turn. The chief stood at the front, dressed in his flowing agbada, his smile as radiant as the lanterns and bulbs above. He handed out gifts with practiced ease, nodding warmly to each villager. Chief, may your wealth never run dry, an elderly woman exclaimed, clutching a sack of rice with trembling hands. Amen, Mama, Chief Onisakwe replied with a broad smile, his baritone voice carrying a mix of authority and warmth. Don't worry, next year I will bring double, oh? The crowd roared in approval, their cheers echoing through the village like a hymn of gratitude. When it was finally their turn, Chizuru felt a rush of excitement. He stepped forward, bowing slightly at the chief, handed him a sack of rice and a bottle of wine. But as their hands briefly touched, a chill ran through Chizuru's body. For a moment, it felt as though the ground shifted beneath him. He looked up into the chief's eyes and his smile froze. The chief's gaze was piercing, almost too intense. Chizuru quickly looked away, blaming his nerves. Thank you, sir, he mumbled, stepping aside for the next person. As they walked back with their hall, Chizuru couldn't shake the uneasy feeling. Did you guys feel anything when he gave you the gifts? He finally asked Ekene. Ekene laughed. Feel what, kwa? Stop letting Nnes stories get into your head, this boy. But Chizuru couldn't forget the look in the chief's eyes. It was as though they had seen something deep inside of him, something even he didn't know what was there. That night, as they sat around the fire, sharing a piece of the dried meat, Chizuru noticed something odd. The meat tasted different, richer, yes, but there was an aftertaste he couldn't quite place. His stomach immediately churned and he threw away the meat, staring into the flames as his friend devoured theirs eagerly. Meanwhile, back at the compound, Nene could not sleep. She sat by her kerosene lamp, clutching her rosary, praying fervently. The visions from her dream wouldn't leave her. God, please protect my grandchild, she whispered. Far away, the chief sat alone in his mansion, the laughter from the party fading into the night. His smile was gone now, replaced by a calculating expression. He reached for a glass of wine, staring into its depths as though it held secrets only he could see. It's almost time, he murmured to himself. A few weeks after the festive season had quieted down, tragedy struck the village. Ifoma, a widow who sold vegetables in the market, suddenly collapsed and died without warning. She had been clutching dried meat in her hand at the time. The news of her untimely death sent shockwaves through the community, but it wasn't the end. Shortly after, another chilling incident occurred. Chika, a joyful man who had just received life-changing news, mysteriously passed away in the early hours of the morning. His wife, who had finally gotten pregnant after years of trying. Tearfully recounted how they celebrated the good news the previous night. He had opened a bottle of the vintage wine gifted from Chief Olisakwe and enjoyed the drink before going to bed. But when morning came, Chika didn't wake up. My husband was very healthy. He even went to market yesterday, his wife sobbed. He didn't deserve this kind of death. When Chizru heard about the sudden deaths, his heart raced with dread. The deaths were too strange, too close together to be more than just mere coincidence. His thoughts darted back to Chief Olisakwe and the uneasy feeling he'd had when accepting the chief's gifts. The grandmother's warnings echoed in his mind. Beware, the hand that gives too easily is often taking much more in return. From the moment Chizu had received the gifts, his peace had left him. Even though he had just taken a piece of the meat, the one he had with his friends, he had discarded the rest of the whole after he noticed the taste. He remembered Nene had said 3 lives, and now he prayed fervently that he wouldn't be the third victim. As Chizu sat in his grandmother's house, a pounding headache gnawed at him. He prayed desperately for the cycle of death to end. Suddenly, there was a loud cry outside. Someone was shouting his name. Chizuru! Chizuru! It was Ekene, his friend, running towards him with tears streaming down his face. Namdi, Namdi is gone. Namdi is dead, Ekene sobbed. He was found on the road leading to the stream. No one knows what happened. Chizuru froze. Namdi. How? How could this be? We were all together last night now. The friends had been inseparable since the day they had shared laughter and stories after the night of the gift. Now one of them was gone, and the weight of the tragedy hit them hard. That night as they wept, Chizuru's grandmother joined them. The death had shaken her as well, and she listened carefully to their fears. The village was in turmoil. 3 deaths in 1 week, each stranger than the last, left everyone uneasy. Rumors swirled, but answers remained elusive. Then one day, Nnamdi's younger sister Oge approached Chizuru. Her face was pale and her voice trembled as she spoke. I had a dream, she whispered. In the dream, I saw Chief Olisakwe standing before a blood-red shrine. He was shouting, 3 lives, over and over again. The idol before him echoed his words, demanding the lives as a gift. I didn't think much of it at first, but now her voice broke as she recalled the recent death. Chizu looked at her, feeling the pain in her voice. My nene had a similar dream, Chizu revealed. The pieces were falling into place, and the truth was too horrific to ignore. Together, they decided to approach the village elders with their suspicions. Chizu also informed Ekene about Oge's revelation. When the trio visited the elders dismissed them. Chief Olisakwe is no killer, one elder scoffed. If he was a ritualist, the whole village would be dead by now. These are just mere coincidences. Chizu clenched his fists in frustration, but he told Oge to remain calm. We will uncover the truth, he assured her. We've been blind for too long. As the villagers tried to return to normalcy, Chizu and Ekene made a vow they would expose Chief Olisakwe's sinister acts and avenge their friends' deaths. Every December, the chief arrived with gifts, but this time, Chizu was determined to ensure the truth about those gifts, and their deadly prize would finally come to light. During Chief Olisakwe's next December visit, the village erupted in jubilant celebrations as usual. There was prompt music and dancing as the villagers welcomed the chief with open arms, grateful for his annual gifts. However, Chizu and Ekene were not swayed by the festivities. They had a mission. Taking turns, they kept a close eye on the chief, silently observing his every move. They even stationed themselves outside his home at night, hoping to catch him in an unguarded moment. That year, Chief Olisakwe made a grand announcement. He was getting married again. To commemorate this joyous occasion, he declared there will be 2 special days for his famous gift-giving ceremonies. The news sent the villagers into even greater excitement, but for Chizru, Ekene and Oge, it only deepened their suspicion. One evening, as Oge returned from the market, she noticed something unusual. The chief, usually calm and composed, was hurrying back to his house, a strange urgency in his steps. Alarmed, Oge rushed to find Chizru and Ekene. "There's something off about the chief," she said, breathless. "I saw him. He was in a hurry today. It's very strange. With his gifting ceremony just 2 days away, maybe we should keep a closer eye on him." One evening, as Oge returned from the market, she noticed something unusual. The chief, usually calm and composed, was hurrying back to his house, a strange urgency in his steps. Alarmed, Oge rushed to find Chizru and Ekene. "There's something off about the chief," she said, breathless. "I saw him. He was in a hurry today. It's very strange. With his gifting ceremony just 2 days away, maybe we should keep a closer eye on him." Without hesitation, the trio decided to act. They hurriedly went to the chief's compound and hid outside his gate, silently watching. Hours passed, and just when they began to lose hope, the chief emerged from his house. He wasn't alone. His bride was with him, her face radiant as they laughed and chatted while heading down the bush path. "Let's follow him," Chizru whispered. Moving silently, they trailed the couple through the winding path, careful to stay out of sight. The journey led them to an abandoned hut on the outskirts of the village, shrouded in darkness and mystery. The trio stopped at a distance, hiding in the shadows, their hearts pounding. As the chief entered the hut with his bride, Chizru crept closer, straining to hear what was happening inside. At first, all was quiet. Then the chief's voice rang out, firm and commanding. "Six lives! 6 lives!" he declared. Fear gripped Chizru as he listened, his body frozen. The chief continued, his tone filled with greed. "I've brought you a new bride. The sacrifice you demanded. I need more wealth, more power, and stronger connections. Take her and grant me what I asked for." There was a sudden, loud bang, a calabash breaking, and Chizru peered cautiously through a crack in the wall. What he saw sent chills down his spine. The chief's bride, who had looked joyous and alive just moments ago, now stood motionless, her eyes vacant and hypnotized. Her radiant beauty had faded into an eerie stillness, as if her soul had been drained. Before Chizru could process what he was seeing, the chief emerged from the hut, his bride following closely behind her like a puppet on strings. Her steps were mechanical, her gaze empty. The chief's expression, however, was triumphant, a twisted smile playing on his lips as he led her back down the path. As soon as the chief and his bride were out of sight, Chizru, Ekene and Oge approached the hut, their hearts pounding with fear. They hesitated at the entrance, but their determination to uncover the truth pushed them forward. Inside, the scene that greeted them were horrifying. The shrine was drenched in blood-red stains splattered across the walls and the altar. Bones and remnants of ritualistic items were scattered around, and a heavy nauseating stench filled the air. On the altar lay fragments of shattered calabashes, its contents seeping into the floor. Oge gasped, tears streaming down her face. Ekene clenched his fist, his body trembling with anger. Chizru stepped forward, his face pale but resolute. "This must be it," he whispered. "This is how he's been doing. These gifts he brings every December, they're paid with our blood." They stood in silence, overwhelmed by the sheer evil of what they had uncovered. Then Chizru spoke, his voice steady, despite the fear in his heart. "He can't continue like this. We can't let him. We have to expose him, no matter what it takes." Ekene nodded. But how? The leaders won't even believe us. And this chief, he has so much influence. Nobody will take us. Nobody will listen to us." Oge wiped her tears and said firmly, "We'll find a way. I owe it to my brother Nandi and all others that he had sacrificed. Who knows who will be the next victim?" she said. The trio quickly left the hut. covering their tracks as they went. They vowed to gather more evidence and rally the villagers who might believe them. The chief's power was formidable, but they knew they couldn't let fear silence them. The countdown to the gift giving ceremony had begun, and with it, their plan to finally expose the chief's dark secrets. The day before Chief Olisakwe's much anticipated gift giving ceremony, Chizuru, Ekene and Oge prepared themselves for what they knew would be a dangerous night. They were determined to uncover his secrets and expose him once and for all. That evening, as the village quieted down, they waited in the shadows near the chief's home. As they had suspected, he stepped out, leading his new bride down the bush path toward the shrine. The bride followed silently, her expression blank, her steps mechanical. The chief had in his hand fresh meat dripping in blood and a bottle of wine, the same exact vintage wine he used as gift. Chizru and the others crept behind them, careful not to make a sound. At the shrine, the chief began his strange ritual. He lit a small fire and arranged items on the blood-stained altar. Then he raised a calabash up. In a booming voice, he started chanting, his words thick with urgency. I will give you 6 lives, 6 lives this year. I will bring them to your altar. I want more, he said, laughing hysterically. More wealth, more money. And this year, I'll bring you to the new bride as promised. Grant me my prayers. Grant me more power, more connections. Chizuru and Ekene exchanged a look. It was time to act. Bursting into the shrine, they confronted the chief. What are you doing here? The chief yelled, startled. We know your secret, chief, Chizuru said firmly. We've seen the blood. We saw you the other day. Now we've seen you with the wine and meat. We know about the sacrifices and the gifts. The chief froze for a moment, then dropped to his knees. Please, my friends, listen to me. Just listen to me, he begged. You need to understand. This is the price I have to pay to succeed. It's for the good of the village. You people have benefited from it. No, don't tell anyone. I can make you both rich. Just name your price. Anything you want, name it. Rich? Ekene shot back. You've killed our friend Nnamdi. You've destroyed lives. No amount of money will make us turn a blind eye. The chief's expression turned desperate. Chizuru turned to Oge and said, Go and call the villagers. We need to see this. Oge ran into the night, shouting for the villagers to gather. Slowly, people began arriving, lanterns in hand, their faces confused and curious. When the villagers surrounded the shrine, Chizuru pointed at the chief, who was holding fresh meat and the vintage wine. Tell them what you've done, or we will do it for you. The chief hesitated, then broke down. Yes. I've been sacrificing the villagers to keep my wealth and power. Yes, it's true. Every year I offer gifts. I offer lives in exchange for gifts to the shrine. I killed the former. Yes, I killed Chika and Nnamdi. Yes, they all died because of the gifts I gave them. Gasps and cries filled the air as the villagers reeled in shock. What? What about your wife? Someone shouted at the crowd. Where are they? Are they really abroad? The chief hesitated again, but the crowd pushed forward, demanding answers. Finally, he said, No, they're in my house. They're in my house. I can show you, they're not dead. They're in my house. The crowd followed the chief back to his compound. He led them to a locked door and opened it. The smell that hit them was awful, and when they stepped inside, they were horrified. Locked in separate rooms were the chief's previous wives, all of them mad. Their hair was matted, their clothes torn, and their eyes wild. They whispered to themselves. Some laughed, and others stared blankly at the walls. They went insane after the rituals, the chief admitted, his voice shaking. But they are important. They are the reason I'm still powerful all these years. And I can't let them go, or else I will die. The villagers exploded with rage. They dragged the chief out of the compound and beat him without mercy. He cried for forgiveness, but his cries fell on deaf ears. When they finally stopped, he was bruised and broken, his grand robes torn. From that day, Chief Olisakwe became an outcast. His wealth vanished, his businesses collapsed, and no one would speak to him. The villagers avoided him as if he were a plague. He became a beggar, roaming around the street. His once mighty name was now a curse. Chizuru, Ekene and Oge were hailed as heroes for standing up to the chief and exposing his evil. The village slowly healed from the trauma, vowing never to let greed and wickedness take hold among them again. The end. Thank you so much for watching this story till the end. This story is a powerful reminder of two important lessons. First, greed and selfishness can destroy not just the greedy person but everyone around them. Chief Olisakwe's desire for power and wealth came at the cost of innocent lives and in the end led to his downfall. Secondly, we must never blindly trust appearances. Not everyone who seems generous or kind has good intentions, as the chief used his gifts to mask evil deeds. Remember Chizu's Nne's words: beware the hand that gives too easily. It often takes much more in return. As we approach the festive season, remember to stay vigilant. Be careful of the places you go, the things you eat, and the gifts you accept. Not everything that glitters is gold. Now, I would like to hear from you. What are your thoughts on this story? What lessons do you learn from this story? Please share your comments in the comment section. And if you are yet to subscribe, please, what are you waiting for? Do well to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more interesting stories like this. Like and comment on this video. Until I meet you next time on the next video, thank you for watching. Bye.